So you're recording now.
Sound check. Talk.
Hold on.
Testing. Mic working.
3, 2, 1. Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
Tell me why.
I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
Sound good.
Your mic's working, Sha.
Mic's working. She made you do that.
No,
I did it spontaneously, right? And then she was like, let me do it. Blah, blah. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dugout Podcast. I'm your co-host Andrew, alongside Marissa, my fellow host, and
we're back.
Let's first apologize for not having an episode out last week. A certain person was, fell ill. Unfortunately, she doesn't take after me as much as she should. I'm a consummate professional. I was ill at the time, man. We did it online.
Wait. That's a whole difference. Your illness did not affect you from talking. That's when I come on the podcast and I was so congested. You want me sound nasal? Is that the professionalism you want us to be playing out there?
Listen, the whole commentator playing Champions League last season.
Gosh, that was hilarious.
I could have barely speak.
So how many of us laughed at that?
That's not
there may some here at halftime too.
But first and first, aren't we supposed to be having fun on this show? This is our our hobby.
So you want me to come on the show talking like this? And
I'm saying that sun, rain, snow, or hail.
Well,
the show must go on.
You know what? I apologize. I apologize that I happened to be congested all of last week and I could not put out a podcast. I
also want to add that I was suffering from a fresh cold over the weekend and I'm still here.
You don't even sound. You can't even tell
because I put my head down and I did what was necessary.
What was necessary?
A lot of vitamin C.
Okay.
A lot of paracetamol.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Sea bath, everything.
Gosh.
You know what I'm saying? And they made sure I did here as a consummate professional. You know what I'm saying? I hope that next time you will follow suit.
Right? Sure.
And also, but let's start. I think we should get into the discussion.
I think so too.
And we are going to start with the Champions League results so far. Smile, no?
Smile?
I saw you smile. I saw a little
I always
smirk.
smile. It's not. I can't laugh at your pain because I'll be laughing at mine.
I ain't know if I am pain. But anyhow,
right.
I finished something by in pain.
Let's start from last week. Oh, sorry. You want to start?
I thought we want to start from the most recent game.
Oh, you go ahead. I know you have a lot to say.
You want people to wait? It freshen the memory.
No, he was late today for recording because he was home watching a certain 5-2 loss.
Yeah. So
I'm sure that's where he want to start. Go ahead.
I got 5 hot ones in backside, man. I am playing the sore. Anyhow, yes, like she said, Liverpool went on 5-2 at home.
Man laughing.
You want me to cry? I can't cry.
Honestly,
Listen.
If this was me, I would tell you. I actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
I literally expected you to message me and say, yeah, Marissa, I think I can record today. Because if it was me, I would be like, I can't do this. I can't come and talk about this. It's too fresh.
I would be out to order to do that. Because, right, like I said.
Because you're the consummate professional.
I am that. Not only that, it's not like, okay, I didn't expect a 5-2, but it's not like I expected Liverpool to go through. And when we did our predictions earlier, I said, I felt that Real were the favorites. Mm-hmm. So, let me try to explain this 5-2 as best as I can. All right. So Liverpool started well. 2-0 up. But
great finish by Nunez.
Great finish. Mm-hmm.
Poor mistake from Courtois.
Correct. But that was the only mistake that happened. But anyhow, Liverpool were 2-0 up. I felt as though Liverpool had chances. Can't remember everyone right now because the result is so raw and so new. But Liverpool had chances. I felt to add a third even before Real got there first. Real's first was a nice bit of play from Vinicius. And I felt as though the game on the whole was just a reflection of where both sides are at currently.
Correct.
I know we say that Real Madrid have been patchy of late, had a few up and down results, so to speak. But their form has been nowhere near as low as Liverpool's form has been. Let's remind folks, Liverpool have only won 2 games in league so far this calendar year, and that would have been the two most recent games, Everton and Newcastle. Where Newcastle had chances of their own, and Everton was, Everton didn't really.
Everton was Everton. Of late.
Everton didn't really offer much. Everton beat Arsenal the weekend front. Let's not forget.
They didn't really have a lot of chances in that game either. Well, actually, no. I thought they played better against Arsenal than against you, to be honest.
Fair enough, right?
Yeah.
I felt what happened with Liverpool was that the first goal from Vinicius was a bit of magic. It was an excellent play.
Brilliant.
He was the only player in the first half of Real Madrid that I felt, came to play. I was showing himself.
All right, before you go on though, when I saw because I didn't see the goal.
Right.
I think I went and do something. Then when I come back, I saw it was 2-1. But when I saw the replay, I was like, how on earth he managed to get that ball from underneath foot, was surrounded by 3 Liverpool players. And it's not like Liverpool players were like not tight enough, but that was just a magnificent finish.
It was a magnificent finish.
Honestly, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, really, really, really top quality goal.
And like you say, I think he came to play.
Yeah, he came to play.
Yeah.
Right. And even after the goal, Liverpool still had chances because Liverpool were still playing relatively okay or relatively well. And I felt as though the game plan was that we press in moments, but we're not incessantly pressing. It was more like we sit back and get in a shape when we know that the press is not on. So they were very, very selective in terms of when they tried to win the ball back.
Right.
And when they did get the ball, they were using it relatively well. Gakpo was good, coming short and turning into space and then feeding the ball right to Salah. And the right side ball that Liverpool usually employ with Trent, Henderson, and Salah was working quite, nicely.
Yeah.
But as we said in our last episode, football is really a confidence thing. And when Alisson's goal went in, and the reason I mentioned Liverpool's form for the calendar year is because you saw some of the body language that you were seeing in those games.
There was no belief.
Exactly.
When that goal went in, there was like, here we go again.
Exactly. Exactly. And then second half starts and you get another knock with the work free kick.
Shell shot. They were shell shot.
I call it a knock, shell shot if you want, but it's more like I'm pretty sure that Klopp's halftime talk was that he probably showed them we did this well. Okay, we conceded 2 goals, let's forget about it and let's start again and try to win the second half. Because I'm pretty sure that most people would have said at halftime the game was evenly poised, so to speak. Although Real Madrid were seeming to come into it a lot more. But I was worried at halftime because my whole thing was that I knew that people like Benzema and Modric were not going to be as quiet and as anonymous in the second half as they were in the first. For sure. And true to, as I suspected, that is what happened.
Yeah.
The team woke up. Real Madrid kept the ball well. Liverpool seemed to get ragged because it was like the shell shot, and then it was like a desperation really, really early to try to answer back with a goal. And then you saw a lot of careless passing. You didn't see the same game plan or the same implementation of repressing. It kind of went away, and yeah.
I have to say too, I'm not a fan of BT Sport commentary because I think, especially in Champions League, gosh, they could be biased. But Maka made a really good point. I think it was when it was 2-2, either 2-2 or 3-2. He made a comment about the crowd and he was spot on. It was like, Anfield was up. But then for the time, I think it was either the second or the third goal went in, it was just such a deflate. And I think Liverpool relies so much on their crowd energy, especially on European nights. It's like the crowd and the players had a similar kind of energy about them.
Yeah, like they're the dope started creeping.
Exactly.
Can this get away from us here? Right, 2-2, 3-2. And then when the fourth goal went in, deflection from Gomez, it was like, here we go again. Immediately you saw Van Dijk. How many times have Liverpool considered a goal and we've seen Virgil van Dijk drop to the floor with a half an hour left to
Not
play.
often.
Exactly.
Not
And
often.
Gomez turned away
Yeah.
and Henderson shaking his head. The only thing, like I said, the only thing that they did not do on that pitch was argue amongst themselves. They didn't do it Belgium.
It's definitely a side that is devoid of confidence and belief. Honestly, it is. It is.
And then the fifth goal was like symptomatic of all that. Like I remember before the game began, I looked to see who might pick up a suspension if they got a card. Trent was the only Liverpool player on a yellow that was at risk of missing his return leg, and he burned about 3 weeks from now. And Fabinho had a heavy touch. Modric won the ball going forward, and Fabinho refused to take the yellow card. Not take the yellow. And Bajic too late. And the counter, and Benzema finished it really well. Because in the second half, you saw the one thing that Liverpool didn't come out on the pitch with. Not all really, because the one thing that Real Madrid gradually showed as the game wore on was composure and calm. Liverpool still were playing that sort of chaotic game that they were playing first half.
Yeah.
And so 5-2.
Return that got the burning ball. Miracles do happen. Not in this case. Even I can admit that I think this is a lost cause.
What I would say about the Liverpool crowd though, and Liverpool fans, well, sorry. I know every Liverpool fan, but I mean in terms of what I've seen, in terms of how Anfield normally reacts, they're not daft. So they know that the team, they won the last 2 games, but the team has not been flying.
Right. Which
And
is
they
why it
know
was
that
so
they're
easy for them to
defensive frailties. And the players felt it, and the fans and crowd felt it.
Definitely.
We saw that because after the goal that let the passes of play rather that led up to Alisson's mistake. Lacetic actually retrieved the ball and then made a mistake trying to turn again and lost it. And second half too, he made a mistake or like a misplaced pass for the transition that led to the Gomez deflection.
Okay.
And then his passing became really erratic. I don't know. So this is where they're at. Return leg. I mean, they're Liverpool. Like, this is what I mean. You taking a breath, but you don't know what I'm gonna say yet. They're Liverpool. As bad as we are right now, as a fan, we expect you to go out there and show some character. So roll your sleeves up, fight. I don't think they can come back, but fight and try not to get embarrassed. That's what I'm trying to say.
Again.
Sure, whatever you want to say. But try not to make it a cricket score or I don't know something. But I expect them to go and try. That's I think. The key though would be try to chop the game up in phases. 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. I try to manage it that way. That's all I can say. But I think what we also saw was that the efficiencies in the midfield and the fact that Klopp really doesn't trust his alternatives, because with Bajic struggling, with Henderson's influence fading, Klopp didn't make a midfield change until the 85th minute with Harvey Elliott. So that definitely shows you that, what he thinks of Keita and also Chimney.
And we've been saying for a while that y'all need a midfield rebuild. So
and I was saying, I said from the start of the season that I coming. I started that season. It wasn't coming this summer or in January transfer window.
Right.
And I feel like I know how your Klopp is operate better than I know yourself. I know that Klopp I'm pretty sure Klopp probably has 1 or 2 targets probably. One as a priority, next one probably, and I'm pretty sure that he has been working on it, for the most part, for the most season. And I hope he can get them, because I know that Klopp is one of those managers.
I know.
Well, that's because everybody, you're talking about who you're referring to? Bellingham?
I think your top 2 targets will probably be Rice and Bellingham. But I don't know if y'all can get those players. I think Bellingham likely, maybe, but I think a lot depends on top 4, in my opinion.
Not to me.
Well,
this is what I think it depend on. For the most part, from what you're seeing, right? I think Klopp has a lot of cash here, so I feel like, and Liverpool is a big club.
True.
I feel as though it depends on the player's desire to play for Liverpool.
Exactly.
I don't think Klopp, because I think Klopp said already that he doesn't. If a player said to him, "Well, I'm not sure about coming because you might not qualify for top 4 or whatever," he doesn't want a player, and I believe him. I think that should be every manager's pro quo when they're getting the same players for the most part. But
oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Right.
We should probably talk about some other Champions League fixtures. I think Napoli won 2-0 today. Was it 2?
It was 1 at half time. I'm not sure what
I saw that they scored in the second half. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna check. No.
Okay.
Listen.
But I think Napoli is in control of that tie. But the other 2 ties are in the balance. Well, Bayern PSG, so yeah. Bayern PSG definitely balance.
Yeah.
Dortmund Chelsea, might be a foregone conclusion. We get to that in a bit. I know what I say. I don't know if you saw the Bayern PSG game. I saw it. I was watching actually. Man, last week was something. I was watching Bayern PSG and some other game was on that time.
It wasn't the City Arsenal?
No, Spurs Milan was on at that time. It was Spurs Milan, Bayern PSG.
Right, City and Arsenal was on when
City and Arsenal, yeah. So I was watching City and Arsenal, Chelsea, Dortmund, and Bayern PSG. Yeah. That Milan Spurs game ended 1-0 to Milan, right? Okay. Yeah, so that totally forgot about that. So a lot of ties are in the balance, except Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Chelsea, Dortmund. But
stop it. Stop it.
Let's go through it one by one. I thought Bayern deserved to win, but PSG definitely grew more into the game when Mbappe came on, in my opinion. They had a goal, but there's a lot for offside. I love how quick VAR is in the Champions League compared to the Prem. We'll talk about VAR later. But I do think that that tie is still in balance. PSG can still get something. I think they can. Dortmund, PSG. I'm saying Dortmund, PSG. Dortmund, Chelsea. Chelsea can't score a goal, so I fully expect Dortmund to progress next week. I think it is. Week after next. Milan, Spurs. I ain't sure how I feel about that one. But second leg at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I feel that Tottenham got a chance on the simple fact that Milan of late have not travelled well in Europe. Especially when it comes to England.
It's true. Chelsea completely demolished them at the bridge.
I beat them. I think I beat them a couple years ago at Anfield too. So their recent history on English soil has not been great. They don't seem to travel well.
It's true.
So I felt the key for Milan was the win. They won the game 1-0, but if they could have gone a second at least.
Yeah, more goals, yeah.
Helped. I have not necessarily directly with you, but I have been mourning the fact that Chelsea struggle to score goals. I have emphasized that for a long time. I feel as though you're playing with essentially a new team, so there needs to be a period of adjustment and gelling. The problem is that you all need to get results. Well, at least Imagine needs to get some results.
So that's my thing, right? The Potter out brigade was in full force after Southampton on Saturday.
I heard.
And honestly, let me be real. Losing at home to Southampton, who do not have a manager, was utterly disgraceful. Do you know Southampton have gotten 1/3 of their points from Chelsea this season? 6 points out of 18 because they did the double over. Anyways, let me not run myself up over Saturday. But my point is, the Potter out brigade in full force, but Jim White from Talk Sport claimed he got a text message from the hierarchy, and there's been a lot of club debriefings, and they're saying they understand the mitigating circumstances that Graham Potter has, including all the signs in January needing a period of adjustment, and they're firmly backing him for the rebuild. So despite people spreading a lot of rumors, which turned out not to be true, that Chelsea approached Pochettino, they're sticking to him because they understand, but they are wary that the team needs results. Honestly, aside from the first half against Southampton, I thought that we've been playing relatively decently. I felt put away the chances that we had some good chances against Dortmund. Put away those chances that we had against Dortmund. Put away some of the chances we had at West Ham, against Fulham recently. We could be having a totally different conversation. So it's not like the team, barring Southampton, are playing badly. It's just results aren't going our way. So I'm still not Potter out, but I still think that he also needs to do better in terms of some of his team selections and stuff like that. But like the board, I am backing it. I'm not gonna say part of all. I mean, Spurs is Sunday, and I know everybody expects that anytime Chelsea goes to White Hart Lane or wherever the stadium is called now, we win because we're the only team that have won all the games on our travels there. But we might lose. Does that mean I'm going to be part of? Oh, I don't think so. I still think that you need to understand 8 signings came in January. A few of the signings from January still having an adjustment period. Potter himself didn't have a preseason. There's so much things. And my opinion, when we talked about Potter a few weeks ago, has not changed. I still think he needs the summer and at least the first few months of next season to see, you know, how things can go. But I still think Dartmouth will progress from this time.
Okay. It's hard for me to say because 1-0 and he's returned. I got Stamford Bridge, right? So to me, the tie is still really in the balance for the most part. The one thing that y'all have to do is just win the game.
How you win football games?
Right?
How you win football games?
You have to score.
Okay.
But that's your fault. But that's your fault because you have yes, I ain't call you. You've had a lot of false belief in a lot of Chelsea players, Havertz and them, so that a lot to them in a good. But anyhow, you don't have reliable goal scorers. Even the people that you brought in, Joe Felix, Mudryk.
Gosh, he has such good opportunities against Dartmouth.
There's a winger too from that y'all brought from PSV.
Madueke.
Correct. Dribblers, nice low technical players, but they're not prolific goal scorers. You know, so until y'all get that or someone matures into that, y'all will struggle in front of goal.
Yeah, because just on that point, do you know that we have the second best defense in the league?
Yeah.
And we're in 10th.
You know.
That just says, and that's my thing about Chelsea fans that call in for the manager's head. Look at things in context. To have the second best, we have a better defense than Arsenal. We have a better defense than Manchester United. We have a better defense than Liverpool. I'm talking in terms of not personnel, but in terms of goals conceded in the league this season. And we're in 10th because we probably have converted or scored probably, I gotta check that stat though. We've probably scored the least goals in the top 10.
Yeah, but I had an argument with Chelsea fan before the season began where I told him that until Chelsea, because when I look at the statistics, actually, it wasn't even me that looked at the statistics. When my friends pointed it out, and I was like, yeah, that's true. When you look at City scored over 100 goals, and Liverpool last season scored, I think, close to 100 or maybe just over as well. And Chelsea, total goals for the season was like 60, 70 odd. You know, unless Liverpool and City conceded bucket loads, which they weren't, when they win a championship.
Exactly.
So you all need goals in team. Team need goals. So
exactly.
And consistent goals. And you sign players that I would say are promising, emerging talents. You know? So it's a case where are you going to play the patient game? You're seeing to the one person who in the squad who might be considered a prolific goal scorer, you've seemed to have frozen him out for whatever reason.
I don't know either. That's a strange situation.
Well, you like to say all shitty things. You don't think people looking.
I mean, it's not he was exactly buying in the goals either before.
Right, he hasn't been in good form.
Right, but I do wonder. Would the decision to exclude Aubameyang from the Champions League squad, for example, or not put him in squads, be that big of a talking point if we were doing better?
No.
Exactly.
But that's everything. That's every decision. It's never
true.
It's never a big. It's
because
never as
when
big
the decision was
point.
made at the time,
unless if you're winning.
Exactly. When the decision was made at the time, I didn't see a lot of the Chelsea people on my social media being up in arms about it. It only became a problem because now we clearly can't finish chances. Not that I agree or disagree with the decision. I'm just making that point. But I don't know. Whatever. I'm just like, when it comes to Chelsea, I tell you, I try to emotionally detach. But Saturday was just, I didn't feel bad after the Dortmund loss. I felt disappointed because I felt we played really well. But after the Southampton game, it was just like, wow.
Well, at least take solace in the fact, right, that you can never feel as bad as I do right now.
I was just thinking.
So take solace from that fact.
I was just thinking, at least it wasn't a 5-2 after being 2-0 up.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, but I mean, it doesn't matter.
But
if
a
it was
loss
2-0.
is a loss, to be honest.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it was 2-0 up, 1-0 up. You know, it was 2-0 down when I came back 2-2 and I still lost 5-2. It's still a 5-2.
Yeah, you still feel hurt.
It's still, but you know what? It's 5 unanswered goals and it's anyway.
Yeah.
Off of that. Tottenham Milan. We talked about them already.
Yeah, you say you expect Tottenham to get something because Milan don't travel well.
Yeah,
Bayern PSG, you didn't mention your thoughts on that.
I didn't see the game. I agree with you though that I think the door is so open for PSG. It's 1-0. So like for 1-0, I generally do feel, unless you know one team is really, you know, miles and miles ahead, I do feel that, you know, it's still an open game, it's still an open tie.
Yeah.
And actually I think the first game was at Parc des Princes. Allianz may play a factor, but we'll see. I think fit Mbappe will help, but then Neymar's injured. Sorry. Yeah. So he probably missed that return game.
They said it was just a sprain at a time though.
Yeah, but I think I heard it was a bad sprain. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
City got to play tomorrow.
We'll see. Yeah, Leipzig.
Oh, well, yeah, City should make it through, I believe.
Yeah, because I think they're still sweating on Nkunku's fitness. So, yeah. All right. Enough for CL. Depressing CL. VAR has become a significant talking point in recent times.
For you, because if we could have recorded an episode last week, winner would have got the Marissa rant of a lifetime.
It's true. I had to set her for sending you voice notes.
But before you say anything about VAR, right? I will go first if you don't.
Go ahead.
And I'm just going to play it here. Because I agree with most of what you said. I think we talked about it. You agree with most of what you said too. But I think for me, what I don't get as hyped up and emotional about VAR, although I know people were calling, they had a nickname for VAR one time.
I used to call it VARS. Maybe that's it. Like farce? No,
some people had a nickname for it. Because the suggestion was that Liverpool get all the decisions on VAR.
Varlipool or Varpool or something.
It was some stupidness,
I still stick
right?
to that though.
But the reason that I don't get so worked up about VAR, because one, it's just a game. Two, although you did point out that, you know, it has consequences for different permutations, but I don't get that worked up because for me, at the end of the day, it's a human operating a human. You know, humans are never going to be perfect. So I feel as though, yes, we know that VAR's job is to make everything that bit, you know, more clear. Add some clarity, blah, blah. But I feel as though, you know, there will always be mistakes. Whether it be on the pitch, in the control room. As much as you could train, listen, you have as much as you want, or not, sorry. You can train referees to the best of your ability, the best of whatever. You know, there are going to be some decisions that people are not happy with. Full stop. Enough.
I understand that. And I agree. But more than that...
Way fast then.
Because of the lack of accountability. If I am working at a job and I do a poor job, I'm going to get reprimanded in some way.
Right.
Some way, shape, or form. If I make a mistake at work, I mean, I work for myself, but if I was working for somebody and I make a mistake, I have to go to my boss and take accountability for that mistake. One of the things I told you when I was talking to you about it is, and I saw it online, so I'm not going to pretend that is some brilliant novel idea that I have, but somebody pointed out, you have players that are expected to front up after poor performances. You have coaches that are expected to front up after poor performances and good performances. Why can't referees come out and why do we have to wait until Monday when they're doing some ridiculous review on Sky Sports for them to tell me, oh, this is why that wasn't a red. Oh, this is why this wasn't handball. No, I'm tired of it. I am tired of, and like I told you, I don't want Arsenal to win the title. But when I could hear nonsense coming out about the fact that people forgetting to draw lines, if I can't forget to do something at work, I can't forget to do my job. There has to be consequences. And I think it is ridiculous. Now, to your point about humans, I get that. And for me, that's where I have more sympathy for on the field referees. Even though I do believe they do jump sometimes, they're seeing the thing in real time. How can you sit down at your screen and see certain things? The latest was the one you pointed out to me because I had a kind of football hiatus until today because Chelsea annoyed me. So I didn't watch Man U Leicester, but I saw a still, and I know stills are sometimes not the best way to judge a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a still of Sabitzer's tackle on the Leicester defender. How do you look at that and deem that not to be a reckless challenge? How do you look at that with his foot, his studs, everything so high and showing? How do you look at that on a replay? Because a referee commits that. How do you look at that on a replay and say, no red? How do you look at, what's he called? Soucek against West Ham, clearly playing goalkeeper and claim he was breaking his fall?
Mm-hmm.
How do you, what was the other decision that happened that week? I can't remember.
For Arsenal. For
right.
Brentford equalizer.
Right. How do you forget to, you're checking for offside. How do you forget to do the most basic thing in checking for offside? It's becoming more and more blatant that I don't want to call it corruption because I can't make those sort of accusations. But I just asking a serious question here. How do you look at those things on a replay and say, and do not make the decision that should be made when they're so clear and so blatant? Because you claim the only way you can change decisions is if it's a clear and obvious error. Those are clear and obvious errors to me. So human or human not. My issue is people looking, and I think one of the biggest issues I had was in the West Ham Chelsea game, of course, when West Ham scored a goal that they thought was the winner. Declan Rice was clearly offside. Mm-hmm. To my naked eye, clearly offside. They took 2-3 minutes to make that decision. Mm-hmm. But for that penalty decision, 30 seconds, oh, no penalty. It's clear that there's a bias against certain clubs, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't know, for instance, what you thought about Arsenal's penalty against City. I had an issue with that as well.
I watched a game. I can't remember what was the incident that led to penalty again.
And Nketiah took a shot.
Oh yeah.
Edison came out. Edison didn't. I still maintain Edison did not really foul him. He just was there, like making himself big to prevent the shot or whatever. And Nketiah kicked the ball.
Well, this is the thing for me. I tend to agree with you about Edison, but it's more a case where the collision was inevitable. Because once Nketiah shoot the ball, momentum's gonna take him into Edison.
Exactly.
At least.
How is that a penalty? How many times we've seen players kick a ball and was fouled after and the foul is not given?
Yeah, but to me, how the game is refereed, it seems to be once the keeper touches the player, it generally would be.
But he didn't affect him in any way.
Remember we had one a penalty. It was last season. Jordan won a penalty against Aston Villa or somebody where he kind of pushed himself.
Oh yeah, I remember that nonsense too.
I can remember that one because my team was playing, but I find that the game is referee once there's contact between the keeper and the player. But
it's a contact sport though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the whole thing is refereed. It seems to be that way. But anyway, about VAR and all this around here and stuff like that. Like I said, it's always going to be error. You know what I'm saying? You could train a man as best as you want to train. The training is supposed to minimize the likelihood that errors would occur.
But they're making more errors.
The problem is though, no, because it's not about the problem is them. And the problem is them from what I see about how the VAR officials operate. It seems to be that they don't understand the laws of the game that they're supposed to implement, or they just don't understand the game, period. Understand?
But question, before you continue, are these VAR referees sometimes referees that referee games as well sometimes?
Yes, they rotate.
So then how can that be? How could it be that they don't understand the game that they referee? That doesn't make any sense to me. Not you're wrong. It's just it doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know why it wouldn't make sense, because for years before VAR was even a thing, the standard refereeing in England was poor, or or what we call, you always had errors. VAR is supposed to take away a lot of those errors. I can't explain why a man will forget to draw lines for offside. I can't explain why sometimes VAR doesn't have the correct angle to recheck certain decisions. I can't explain why the movement of Soucek was deemed to be him trying to break his fall as opposed to slide him with his. I can't explain these things.
Gosh.
But what I can explain is that it's a game that's refereed by humans, so I know that there are gonna be mistakes, and I don't fuss about it because it's just a game for me.
I get it, but I fussed about it because these things have repercussions. I mean, in the guarantee, we would have scored the penalty, but it could have been a win that Graham Potter needed.
But I feel as though there were repercussions, at least on these occasions, because I think some of the referees were removed for the next following game or whatnot.
Yeah, that only happened for Arsenal. Sure. That only happened in the referee that forget to draw the lines for Arsenal. It ain't happened in any other case.
But I mean, okay. But I mean, at least that was a accountable for one. What I'm trying to say though, I don't think that we will ever get to a stage, at least not anytime soon, where referees are asked to come and, do TV interviews or what's not directly after the game. To explain or be asked about.
It ain't gonna be directly after. I would still like an explanation though. Because the whole coming on Monday and say, yeah, that should have been a penalty, or yeah, that should have been a red. What does that do for supporters other than make them angry? Like, why couldn't this have been made for 24 to 48 hours earlier? So anyways, it's just annoying to me. But it's just annoying to me too that basically every game there's a VAR talking point. That's the thing that gets to me as well. Well, except in Southampton, Chelsea.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I feel as though it's still a case of some you get, some you don't.
Evidently.
I know, to me, my expectation of it though is that, to me, that is kind of like the norm, because I feel like as though in most sports that I know about, where something might get rescinded or some decision might get reversed, or somebody might make a statement about something and maybe explain it away. That normally does happen at the end of the weekend or what's not. And the one thing that doesn't happen in sports is that, anybody goes back and reverses a scoreline or a result.
Yeah, obviously
I remember
not.
being in America, this is 2010, for the World Cup. And I think there was a controversial referee decision in one of America's games where they scored a goal and I think it was adjudged to be offside, but it actually wasn't offside. I remember, Americans don't really watch, as they call soccer. I will never forget, it was about 19. A guy we met.
He was 19 and 29?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh, shoot, look how you game with my age.
Me old, boy.
Anyway, but right, a guy said to me, he was like, yo, I watched your game, it was so exciting. Right? And then he was like, and they be able to go for offside or what's not. He was like, and I was like, no. And then he asked me if they were going to go back and change it. There's not the NBA, that does not happen.
Oh, gosh.
So, like, I mean, that's the only thing about it.
But cricket did this thing over the last few years that I've really appreciated. I don't think you could see it in football because it's a different game, but they had issues around DRS when DRS first came.
Right.
But one of the things that cricket has done over the last few years is that when a decision is referred, you hear the third umpire going through the process.
Right.
So they would say, okay, show me ultra edge. Okay, I see a clear spike on the back.
Yeah, I know.
Or, I like to hear that. Even though sometimes I don't always agree with some of the things they be saying, I like the transparency because you can be taken through the process and hear their line of thinking. And
maybe that will help VAR too, because if you go say the things out loud,
exactly.
remember what you got to do. But honestly, right? You know what? If I was gonna make a compelling, actually, this might sound stupid, right?
Oh gosh.
But I can still say it anyways. In football, we like to tell the VAR officials that it's taking too much time to review decisions or what's not. So maybe is it possible that he might forget because he don't want to get the game restarted quickly? I don't know. But I'm just saying, right? In cricket, they don't have that sort of pressure to make it. They can take their time.
True.
So I mean, there are a lot of that would say is human error. So as much as you train a man, the likelihood is that a mistake can be made. What I'm saying about not understanding the game is that I find in England, the referees don't seem to have a good enough grasp of the rules and how to implement them or how they should be implemented.
Classic case is the handball debacle.
Right. And the one thing that VAR needs to remove is this. Make things a lot easier.
The clear and obvious
error
needs to go.
Just say, if it's an error, draw the referee's attention. Because at the end of the day, when the referee goes to the monitor and he takes a look, he still has to determine whether or not, okay, I'm not ever seen it back. Am I going to stick with my original decision, or do I feel as though I've made an error?
Because that's what I think. What is a clear and obvious error? You're either wrong or right though.
It's that it's not spelling.
Right?
Because that's a clear obvious error that you spell out where you're correct.
I hate the terminology. I hate it. I agree with you. I think that would help. Just say it wrong.
Right.
It wrong.
But don't, Marissa and viewers, if do not get that upset and that worked out about VAR and their decisions.
That's easy for you to say. I ain't 10th. I ain't 10th and sliding in the relegation
I know get B5 too. Nothing ain't easy to say tonight. You know what I'm saying? But I still saying it.
You know, I love the fact that I love this attitude from you tonight though. I was expecting you to be, down with the dance, but you just seem level.
Honestly, right? You know what I've learned? I am not from Liverpool.
You're
I ain't born down there, I got a family down there, and a Scouser. Well, in my heart I might be one. But I'm not one authentically, right? So there's no reason for me to feel that much of a vested interest and vitriol when
it's
things
true,
go wrong.
I think people also take football a little bit too seriously.
It's an entertainment, it's a sport.
Because I've seen like a lot of the abuse that, for instance, my players have been getting. And to me, it don't really be necessary because, yeah, they're playing crap, but they're human beings. You don't gotta wish. I see people wishing people ACL injuries, and that's too far, man. The abuse on social media is just and that's because people taking things a little bit too seriously. Like,
even for the VAR officials. I mean, yes, they don't have to come out and face up to the media and answer questions, but we know who they are. But before the game starts, they have the VAR and they have the names of officials there. We know who they are. Us in Barbados might not get accustomed, but I'm sure, when they go to different grounds, and when they're doing their daily commutes at Tesco, for example, they get the game blistering us all across, all across the UK.
Oh, God.
So they're under pressure too.
Anyways, we have a couple quick hits before we close with our Premier League predictions. The title race was well and truly open last week, Wednesday, when Manchester City beat Arsenal, which I thought was a very convincing and deserved victory. And then Man City pulled the Spurs and went away at Nottingham and conceded an advantage to Arsenal again. Well, Arsenal...
You said they pull the Spurs?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Like, beat a big team one week and then go against a team that it should beat and just do nonsense. We saw they had a lot of chances that they could have won that game too before Nottingham equalized. So yeah, Arsenal in driver's seat again. Like I told you, in my opinion, it's still the same. I think Arsenal will continue to wobble, but I don't think that is going to cost them a title. I don't think City is showing me, you, or anybody that they could string 3, 4, 5, 6 wins together to go on a rampage, honestly. And it's like, I think you tell me, even if they beat Arsenal again at the Etihad, once Arsenal continue to win against the sides they should beat, I think they'll win the title. Unfortunately,
well, what
Chelsea
I would say,
having the worst possible season at Arsenal win the league. What could be worse?
What I would say is that there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Now, you said City are having a dip. They're not having the level of dip as other teams. And in fact, City is so well assembled as a squad in terms of quality that even the City dip is still a good team.
Exactly.
So,
they
City are having a dip. They're not showing that level of consistency that we normally would associate with City. It's more like we're using their past history to justify why we think that they might overtake Arsenal. What I want to give Arsenal credit for, though, that, and we talked about the Arsenal Aston Villa game. We said that, Arsenal they rode it luck at times. Villa had chances to score. At times? Yes. Villa had chances. Arsenal were a better team. Give Jack his jacket. Put your hatred for Arsenal aside. They were the better team, and they probably, if anyone was going to snatch the 3 points, it probably deserved to be Arsenal. But Villa did have chances to get something from that game. 3 points, even.
I still maintain Arsenal is lucky. How does Leon Bailey hit that kind of shot? Cannon right off the bar.
Well, it's tipped onto the bar.
Yeah, right. Tipped onto the bar. And Jorginho, who's tackle shots to the box once every 10 games, hit the bar, come back, hit Martinez, and went in for a goal.
The thing is, right, is that I remember in the play when it came to the left hand side of Martinelli, I watching it at home on TV, I was like, right, Jorginho put his hands up to wait to get the ball. I was like, watch him up the box. And nobody saw Jorginho. And I mean, yeah, you don't associate Jorginho with goals or score a high number of goals, but it was a good shot. Yes, he was lucky that it ricocheted off the bar and came back off of Martinez's head and found its way into the net. That was unfortunate, but that's happened sometimes. That's part of the game.
Why my shots can't do like that?
Who knows? Because luck ain't falling for you this
exactly.
season. But I'm pretty sure if they've missed where you've had your luck.
Well,
you won a Champions League against all odds in the Allianz. Did you not?
Andrew, that was 11 years ago.
It does not matter. But I can only call it more, standout moments if you can have this discussion.
Whatever.
Right?
Whatever.
Did you not win? Anyway, you're being difficult.
I'm being bitter. Bitter. I am bitter.
I think it's right. What you got to be bitter about Arsenal for? Or
it's not necessarily about Arsenal.
The fan base?
Well, yeah, I don't dig the fan base, but it's not necessarily about Arsenal. It's just about the fact that the worst thing that could happen is, and you know what it reminds me of? That season we came 10th when Spurs and Leicester was going for the title. It reminds me of that. And it's like we're in a similar situation. It's like you having a bad season and Everton challenging for the title. It doesn't feel great.
But they think
especially when you know you should be challenging.
But this is the thing that you must remember.
You might give me a look.
Yeah, because you say you know you should be challenging.
I mean, not in the current state, but
nevertheless, one thing that you must remember is that the season ends in May, and it all starts again in August. There've been another chance,
I guess.
But
anyways,
Arsenal are definitely. I want to commend Arsenal for guts that they showed, because in the past Arsenal would have, they would have crumbled. I would have had Aston Villa sticking the teeth, as we normally say. And Arsenal show guts. They have fight, and there's a real determination that, because I think Arsenal recognize that this is a chance, and there's a real determination that we're not going to let this chance slip.
Okay, fine. They show guts, character, determination. Great. Can we move on?
Sure.
Thanks.
All right.
ICC Women's T20 World Cup has came and basically gone, because semi-finals Thursday and Friday, finals on Saturday.
That's all, yeah. I don't think we preview the.
Oh, we'll do that at the end.
At the end, okay.
It's just a quick hit. Top three sides: Australia, England, India, standard through, and South Africa bounced back after a loss in the first game, a short loss against Sri Lanka. They went through to the semis today, so it's Australia versus India, England versus South Africa for the semis. I fully expect Australia-England final.
Me too.
I think that they're once again two best sides in the world. West Indies, they won 2 games, one against Pakistan, one against Ireland, and I think in both games you really have to thank Haley. Bat balling in the field, she's just showing up, and I think, I don't know, if there's one thing this World Cup is showing me is these players need more cricket. Whether it's West Indies, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, it's clear that a lot of the sides in the lower tier, because let's face it, there's Australia, England, India, then there's probably New Zealand, South Africa, and then there's the rest. And I think the rest have talent, it's just that they need to play more cricket, I believe. But I've enjoyed the World Cup. I know you haven't watched much, but I've pretty much watched all the games. And I've enjoyed it. So we see what happens on Sunday. Sunday is a big day.
As the final?
Sunday is a big day. We get to that big day in a bit. But yeah. What did you think about the West Indies when you did watch them?
I only watched one game, and that was the opening game against England. And I thought the same as I always do. The batting is the problem. Because
we actually made more runs than I expected, though, to be honest. Yeah.
But clearly, women's cricket know that 130 odd, 120 odd score is not sufficient.
Against some teams, it would be. Against those teams,
it can even be Pakistan. We only score like
116 or something. Right. Yeah.
But yeah. So I feel like, I guess I feel the same about our female batting as I feel about the men's batting, in terms of they need more contributors.
Yeah.
We need to
too reliant on Haley.
Yeah, on one or 2 people.
And Stefani is really having her injury challenges as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I know how to well, we've already said how that could be turned around. You mentioned more cricket. Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel as though until we start, because at the end of the day, for me, I feel like women probably more so than the men. Cricket. We play part-time cricket, but yeah. So I feel until we start treating the cricket as though it's a professional career.
Yeah.
That you're doing it Monday to Sunday. Because the money and the infrastructure and development that those nations that you mentioned, South Africa, England, India, Australia, for example, New Zealand, the money that they have been able to put into their cricket and invest in their players in terms of development and coaching and just the regularity of doing it day in, day out. The skills that our players got once upon a time, like I said, from playing cricket on the beach or playing Friday to Sunday, or playing little schoolboy cricket for a couple hours after school or what's not. Those skills are not going to be sufficient to, play against the best teams consistently. Talent is still there.
But talent can only get you so far.
Right. These skills are not going to be developed and honed, as they should. So
yeah. All right. So let's do some Premier League predictions before we wrap up. Leicester versus Arsenal.
Arsenal to win 3-0.
That's a
No matter who plays.
Okay. Okay. Leicester, I find it really difficult to predict Leicester results lately. 1 minute they play badly, next minute they play good. Sometimes even when they play good, they don't win.
I tell you they get beat.
I don't know.
They're gonna get beat.
Yeah,
Brendan Rodgers?
I fancy a 3-1 Arsenal. Let's give Leicester one. 3-1 Arsenal.
No.
Yeah, we heard. Man City away at Bournemouth.
Oh, City 2-0.
Same. I could tell I'll be watching no football on Saturday though. Liverpool away at Palace.
Don't matter.
I might watch that.
Don't matter. We not care.
Am I going to get a prediction?
No. It just said it don't matter. I call it words to the raw. It does not
There's
matter.
not been a time on this show we have not given a prediction.
Well, this is a first.
Wow.
We're breaking new ground, people. New frontier.
All right. I hope you remember that for your next game.
What's
Because
next game?
I was actually going to pull that for Tottenham Chelsea.
Okay, cool.
Liverpool Palace.
No, I made a prediction. Palace to win 2-1.
I was going there, but
Palace to win.
I think Liverpool win.
No, I'll be very surprised if Liverpool respond after getting beat 5-2. I think that game will have a morale deflating effect on that team.
Yeah, but Palace isn't exactly playing with much confidence.
Yeah,
either.
but can Klopp? I don't think Klopp will be able to pick up these players enough for that quick turnaround on Saturday. So I didn't go with the Palace 2-1. If you want force a decision,
I'll go Liverpool. This is tough. Liverpool 2-1, man.
but at the end of the day, again, it does not matter.
All right. You still got a chance for top 4,
I know.
So
But
it
does
should
not
matter.
Well, no.
Anyways,
This season has been a wash.
Spurs at home to Chelsea.
1-1.
I don't know what's funnier. The fact you're predicting a draw or the fact that you actually think Chelsea will score a goal.
They said 1-1.
I am not predicting this game.
1-1, and Romero will not pull Corrales here this time. So he should be happy. You know what I mean?
Wow, memories. Imagine that was not deemed violent conduct. Anyways, I'm not predicting this game. I'm not even going to watch this game.
Why not? You'll be at church?
I'll be at church. And even when I come home, I'm going to turn on the cricket first.
Okay.
Before I turn on that football.
Right. I'll purposely message you as you're at church and be like, yo.
You know what? Thanks for telling me I'll block you. I'll block you on WhatsApp for Sunday. Yeah.
I got other ways of reaching you. Even if I got to send a small signal. Don't worry. We will even got a better shot transfer. Passing on, convey the information to Marissa for me, please. Pass it on. Please share.
I'll make Shot block you too.
Nigel,
Anyways,
you can't make Shot do anything.
Oh Lord, I can't predict this game.
But Shot, the confidence that she has, about her, her influence and what she can make people
Shot
do. I
can not
can't
know
do.
why when I sweat his phone, character he wife to unlock, block your number.
Oh, boy.
Wait, you ever got Shot number? Even better.
I do actually.
When you get Shot number?
Don't worry about that. But I do.
Interesting. People making moves that I don't know. No, well, I'll take care of that.
No problem.
Yeah, I can't predict this game. I have zero confidence that Chelsea can do anything in this game, but I cannot sit on my podcast and predict that Spurs can beat me. So,
So 1-0.
1-2. I am
Chelsea.
not. I can't say that. I can't
You
say
just
that.
said, but I thought what you were going to say because you said that you cannot predict that Spurs will beat you.
But I
So
also
thought,
don't have any confidence. I don't want Jake Steeman. I don't think Chelsea could score for a draw.
So no.
I think Spurs can not score at home.
Look, I give up. Take it whatever direction you want to take it.
Yeah. You see, I'm thinking about taking a break from watching Chelsea, actually. A mental health break.
You want to be first?
Yeah. Just for my sanity. So I'll probably come home from church on Sunday and watch the finals or what's left of it and enjoy myself. So that's it from me. That's it from you too?
Yeah. Wait, you don't have any... Oh, yeah, the Carabao Cup Final.
How could we forget something? That?
Carabao Cup Final.
Yeah,
the first cup final of the season. Man U against Newcastle. Newcastle looking to win their first trophy since, I think, 1969, I believe.
Man U win.
You got Man U to win?
I think the really sickeningly annoying thing about Man U is that they're not even playing that well to me. They play well when they score and confidence is up. They believe that they'll just score whatever they need to do, keep whatever clean sheet they need to keep. I think if Newcastle scores first, then it becomes a more interesting game. I think in all the games I've seen, with the exception of Leeds, in all the games I've seen recently, Man U have always been able to get their noses in front first, and I think that helps their self-confidence and belief. And honestly, when they get that lead, they just seem unbeatable. And I just think that Ten Hag is also doing a great job. I think Man U win. And their 6-year trophy draw. Is 6 years that they haven't won a trophy?
Yes. Yeah, 6 years. That's long. 2017, I believe, the Europa League, right?
Yeah. So 6 years. Yeah. So I think they'll win.
I never realized it was that long.
Yeah. Yeah, Obi. What do you think happened?
I'm worried for Newcastle, right? Because of Nick Pope not playing.
Because of you. See, you help.
Because of him.
You help. You when that stupid game help.
I didn't tell you how I go. But VAR got the decision right. They didn't like the VAR. But right. Will you change those pot shots and take that you get 5-2 and not me?
I just better be. I can't buy a win. I don't know what it's like to watch my team win the game. Even the last game we won, I didn't watch. So I can't remember the last time I watched a Chelsea win. So forgive my bitterness.
Good there. But I fear for Newcastle because not only Pope has a red card, Dubravka is cup tied because he played a game for Man U.
Karius?
Or Gillespie, the other person. Exactly. That was like, I want to play the other fella, not Karius.
Do not kill me.
But Karius, this is your chance to show some character. If you do get it nod. Right. And go keep as best as you can, hopefully well. Go keep, hopefully if you play, he will go keep well enough that he will not be talking point, in terms of anything that he does.
Fair enough.
Because that's all I can ask for.
He doesn't do well in finals though. Like you
only playing one.
Like
you say finals, he play one.
He
only play one. But you know what? It carries defense, right? Ramos elbowed my head, right? I get concussion. According to the clock. So you know what? We stand by the medical professionals who diagnosed the guy with a concussion. Remember that near post run? Papas.
Back to Sunday and not
UFC. Papas. But right, back to Sunday. Don't worry. Listen, I'm on topic even when I'm not on topic. Right. So I would predict a Man U win as well. I think it would probably be I would go for 3-1. I think Man U
that's a solid show.
The more accomplished side.
Yeah.
I think what Newcastle would do, like you said, they have to get the first goal and can they convert the chances that they have. So Cam Wilson and those boys, they will have to be clinical on the day.
And I do kind of want Newcastle to get the first goal because I think it would be a more interesting game.
Right.
I don't see Newcastle getting back into it if Man U scores first. So I think Newcastle scoring first will make for a more interesting cup final. Yeah. But that's it for me.
Lightweights.
So yeah, big up Whole Health Pharmacy again for our hot and cold mugs. I don't think any of us drank today. No. Well, discussion was that hot, boy.
I know it was hot.
Or maybe it's just because we had 2 weeks off, so.
I had to send another my pen. So I decided to talk. Keep going.
So we have our hot and cold mugs. Today I had coffee in mine. Yeah, it keeps things hot as well. And I keep saying hot and cold mugs. Actually, they're called tumblers.
Tumblers.
Okay. I learned that recently. I like when I learn new words. See, I'm not English teacher, so yeah, I don't learn new words that often. But yeah, tumblers. You could get one for $25. You could even get it with the sticker. We've had a few orders, so people are genuinely satisfied. Actually, you're the one who getting these orders. Are people satisfied with their hot mugs? Or you
have not asked.
I ain't surprised you not asked.
You know me well.
Yeah. Who else do we have to big up? Right. So Whole Health Pharmacy. I think it's just Whole Health Pharmacy on Instagram, and you have Spirit Life Studios as well. Shaq is doing a great job. You'll be soon seeing something new when we have our podcast. I won't spoil that. You'll see it when you see it. But he's been doing a great job editing our videos, putting out our things at the bottom, our handles at the bottom and everything. He's doing a great job. Who else do we have to big up? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
I try to remember on your behalf.
Oh, right. Us. The Dugout _ podcast. We really suck at this. Anyways, but the Dugout _ podcast, follow us on Instagram. Actually, we're also on YouTube. I can't remember our YouTube handle, but I'm sure if you just type in the Dugout podcast Barbados, we're there. I noticed that one of our highest viewed episodes was the one with Demar. Mm-hmm. So we should have him back soon. Or even another guest. People might get tired of seeing me and you, you know. So just spice it up a little bit.
Speak for yourself. I feel like I would not. I would never concede that. Nope. But keep going.
Lord. Anyways, for the me.
Actually, right? Sorry to interrupt you. This is a compliment for you though.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, because from those I've heard feedback from, but you haven't told me about feedback you get. So
okay.
But when I've heard feedback about the show, people seem to like your assessments and stuff like that.
Thanks, people.
They mistakenly think that you're quite knowledgeable. So I'm only playing.
The man said mistakenly. Whoa.
I'm only joking.
It's your friend, you know.
I'm only joking. You know that I think the world of you as well. So you're doing a good job.
You never believe I know this man. How long have I known you?
From reception at Westbury Primary.
5 years old. We've known each other for decades. And
probably 4
can say, what?
Probably 4 because we don't start school when we would start
I'm
at 4.
sure I start school at 5. Mistakenly is what he described it as. Mistakenly said that I'm knowledgeable. Wow.
I said it was a joke.
Friends for your boy. Anyways, Marissa Simone 91, Drew
9106.
Right. You can follow us there on our Instagrams, and I'm also on Twitter. I mostly tweet about cricket though, because I think I get a little too emotional to tweet about football. I wonder why that is. I think maybe I'm more emotionally detached from West Indies than Chelsea. Maybe I need to think about that. Anyways, I am rambling. That is it for another episode of the Dugout Podcast. We see you again next week, once I'm not congested. You know, man.